Hello, amigo. Eagle Gardens 1 on 855. I've got a fun episode for us tonight. Comedian L. Kendricks. Did I say that correctly? How
Yo,
you doing, my friend?
lay up just like Jimmy.
How you doing? You want to tell everybody how you're doing and where they can find you?
Oh yeah, I'm good. It's Comedianlhendrix. They say I'm Jimi Hendrix's third cousin, so I stick with it. But yeah, I'm from Flint, Michigan. Been doing comedy out in this area for a while. I also have two studios in the Flint area where I do videography and photography. So yeah, Hendrix Studios in Flint, Michigan. If you're out here, or Comedian L Hendrix, you can follow me on Instagram and other social media platforms.
Right on, right on. Well, what I like to do around here is get to know some of the people in the cannabis community, and I have seen you event master of ceremonies, I guess that we'd call that. And I thought I'd get you out and get to know you a little bit better.
Oh
So
yeah.
basically, where we start this is in the beginning. When did was the first time either you seen the plant or
Ooh, let me see.
used the plant for the very first?
Let's see. So my first time using or seeing it, I was like a few other people. I was in high school, so it started out like it was towards the end of the high school, and it was like, all right, getting kind of bored. Classes are getting to be boring. It's just like you only got a few classes left. What do we do? So kind of came out of boredom, really. And so from that, I saw somebody. He came by and he was just trying to roll a blunt, and I was just sitting there watching him roll a blunt. And he's like, yeah, I got to do this really quick. And like, your parents aren't home, so I'm going to do this and whatever. And so we're just like, go ahead, whatever. And he finishes doing what he does and he left. And so I was sitting there talking to my friend. I was like, what was that? And he was like, oh, yeah, man, that's, some weed, man. Like, whatever. And so after that, we had, of course, got curious like regular kids do. And then we decided to try cannabis. Now that was at the end of my high school year, so it's like I wasn't too young when I started out, but it was kind of later in my life. But
Yeah, I would say as far as cannabis goes, I think that's you were a little bit of a late bloomer as far as when you. Did you actually get high that first time? Would you say you got high that first time?
um, uh, I did. Whether I knew what it was or not, I don't know. Like whether I really, you know what I mean? Like it's like, but I knew that I just kept giggling. And so it was like I was the comedian in high school, and so it went from a moderate my comedic skills went from a moderate 5 to a 10. It was just like in the car, we're all cracking up and laughing. And so it was just kind of an interesting thing. It was just kind of an interesting thing, really.
So, would you say that how was your use after that? Would you say you like just dove in? Was it
Um, I could say I just dove in, to be honest with you. It was something that kind of, it was like I don't know. I could say now as an adult, my ADHD kicks in after, whatever. But as a kid, it actually kind of helped me out. It's like as far as focusing, as far as all that other stuff. So, um, my regular, or not even as a kid, but I'd say, 18, 19, I'm still a kid, but, my focus became better, and so it was like at the time where I wanted to be random and do a lot of random stuff, I was able to focus when I smoked and able to kind of see where I wanted to go, So I had a pretty good experience with it. I was one of the people too, like I can, let's say, even then when I was drinking, it's like I could drink, but I wasn't one of the people that's trying to get like overly wasted. You know what I mean? So even with cannabis, it's like I love smoking, I love doing what I'm doing, but it's like sometimes like I don't know if I could hang out with Snoop Dogg. It's like I don't know how long I could stay up. Like I'm not trying to go too far with it, but if I keep it, good, then I have a good buzz. I'm fine with that, so I stay within my limits in a sense. Are you muted? I'm
I
saying.
am
Oh,
muted. It sounds like even though if you didn't know it, it was kind of medical back then. Did you see it the medical value in cannabis in the beginning there, or no?
as an excuse, like, and to be honest, as a kid, like when we want to do stuff, we're gonna come up with as many excuses as we want. So I used to tell my mom, I'm like, yeah, like, like people that do this, whatever, like, and she caught me when I was in high school. So, it's like I said, 17, 18, but it was kind of like my thing to her. It's like, man, like y'all thought that I was this and that. Like it actually calms me down and it actually this and that. And so, as kids, my mom was like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to stop you from doing what you want to do, but as long as you're at home, as long as you're not out here trying to be random, then like you're good. Like I don't see you out here trying to be a detriment to society to smoke a joint. So it is what it is. So but I did see a lot of I would say even with me, I saw a lot of benefits just from how I acted, how I responded towards different stuff, how I handled stress. So like I was a kid to where like when I started going with my friends, the first thing I remember we went to a barber shop and everybody's getting their haircut and I'm like, oh yeah, like I'll go to your barber. Like so we just always used to rotate barbers. So we trying to see who had the best barber for some weird reason. But we're sitting there and every time I got in a chair, I just kind of start freaking out and be like, man, like I've been here a little too long. Like I'm ready to get up. I don't know your barber like that. Like I don't know this place like that. And so I'd be kind of unfamiliar with different territories or different settings and stuff like that. So I just didn't like new things. And so it kind of made me panic, kind of make me freak out. But if I smoked, I was good. So I could sit there, get my hair cut. I'm joking around. I have no problem, that sort of thing. So it became more regular.
Right.
Definitely.
So it doesn't sound like the typical, stereotypical. Oh, weed holds you back, or weed makes you lazy. Didn't apply to you then. You might say, "Oh yeah, I smoked weed for that first time, and my life changed for the worse." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how do you think cannabis ended up getting that bad rap? To be honest with
Um, I say for me, two things. Like I'm a weird history buff, so like I study the people that have like paved the way for us to be here today, and the people that made the mistakes and the whatever. But for me, I believe it was a combination of the people who were actually making the millions of dollars easily, and the people that weren't making anything at all. That were like, hey, what in the shit? Like we could be making some money off of this, like. And so I think it just became a greed thing because people have been smoking the plant for years before, let's thousands of years before let's say America was started or before civil, it's like people have been smoking this plant for a long damn time. Like, and so when you put on it, it's like even with alcohol, like after a certain point, they were like, hey, like we got to put a whatever on alcohol, like whether it's good, whether it's bad, we got to put a ban on alcohol. It's like alcohol's around now, and so it's kind of the same thing with cannabis to me. It's like somebody wanted to make a buck, it's like, and they weren't making a dollar and it didn't benefit them at all because they didn't smoke cannabis. So to hell with all of you. Like, it's just like people that don't like dogs. Why do I need a dog park here? Like, to hell with all of y'all. That could be a basketball court. So I like dogs. I'm just saying, like, you know how people act. It's just so one of those kind of things. But
So what type of cannabis do you prefer? I mean, and do you get down to where you're indica, sativa? You gotta nail it down. Do you have a in particular
ooh.
strain you enjoy?
So this is like, so I'm 35. It's really weird because like I came in on like the edge of so many things. So like even with computers, like I came in on like computers and it was like my age is like that's how I grew up and this and that. But I knew what it was like to not have a computer. But with cannabis, it's like I grew up when stuff came out and it was like bomb. And then now when you find it, it's like, what in the shit is this? Like, I can't believe I ever, but then you realize it's like, oh, well, when it came out, it was different than it is now. So now I've gotten into like an indica kind of phase. Like it's just like straight indica or indica dominant. I just like the body high, the feel of everything. Sativa, depending on what it is, I just sometimes I get a headache no matter what it is. It's just I can't do the heavy sativa. Um, but yeah, right. Like, but I guess when I started out, Blue Dream was one of my favorites. So when the shops came and it was like, hey, you can go up to the green bean. It's like, oh man, I'm going to the green bean for the first time. Like, and I went through and I looked at the counter and they only had 3 jars in there. Like, people don't remember these days. Like, they only had 3 jars in there. And I looked and I was like, man, I want that Blue Dream. Like, it's Blue Dream, Gorilla Glue, probably, and something else, like cat piss or something. But I got the Blue Dream and I was hooked on Blue Dream for so long. It was like a month, maybe 2 months. It was like, I just got to go up there and get Blue Dream. Then it became something with cheese in it. And that was back then. But now it's just anytime I find something, I find like the sherbs or like your gelatos, your gelatis, like different type of stuff, more indica dominant, a little bit better for me. I love those. So
Man, yeah, just hearing the name, I forget that we're as close as we are. Say the green bean, I'm like, oh shit!
man.
I remember. It takes me back.
Yeah. I don't even know if they're still open. Well, they should be. They should be.
Yeah, green bean was for sure one of the buying weed and uh,
Huh?
selling overages too. With the name there,
Mhm.
kind of funny you brought it up. Yeah.
That was the
So
spot right there. That was the first place where you realized you couldn't go back to the car to ask what somebody wants. Like, what are you going back to the car for? Like, no, I just left some money out there. I gotta. You try to lean in the car. No, what they got is they got Blue Dream. They got the green bean and they whatever the green bean mix was, and they got
yeah,
Gorilla Glue.
and hats off to them. They're
Yeah.
actually one of they were one of the first here, and make it as legally as possible, and they're one of the ones still standing.
Mhm.
Surprisingly, and not too many.
Yeah, that's pretty dope to be honest with you. To be around that long or to have a name, like I still have a shirt in there. I got my green from the green bean. So I'm like, maybe it'll be a collector's item one day.
Possibly. So you brought up this thing. You are a little bit younger there, and you probably did, growing up with just being able to fucking skip the guy and just go straight to a fucking dispo or whatever. Yeah, did you even ever have a guy? Do you know about the guy?
No, that's how I grew up. So when I was in high school, I came up and I don't want to say nobody name now because he still hustle out the house. Like he still move bags out the house. So my technically my high school weed man got locked up to the point where his mama was still selling the nickel bags from the house. And she had a jar. It was a jar, and it was just nickel bags in the jar. And you would go over there and you could just pick up a nickel and you 4 for 20. Like you just gave her $20. She would let you pick up your four. And she just kept that hustle going, but it helped him in there. And when he got out, he was like, bro, like, I appreciate all of my loyal customers. Like, so but it was different for me because I went to Grand Blanc. So when I was in Grand Blanc, I had a lot of people that, they were just buying anything, but it's like, bro, like I come from the north side. Like, I don't know what y'all buying out here, but I'm not paying $20 for a nickel bag. Like it's the same shit I get from my man. So I started bringing people out to out to Flint. And so it's like a lot of people started actually moving weight through Grand Blanc in a sense through my people. And it was like, hey, like we get cheaper prices going out here. Like, why don't we go out here and sell it in Grand? So back then it was a little, and not to say I had a criminal empire, but it was legal. So it is what it is. It wasn't, but it was. What's the statute of limitations, Eagle?
I think it's like 20 years. We're getting ready to cross that anyway. I miss the backpack days. I really do. The cowboy days like 2008 when you could just, basically walk around with a backpack.
Yeah, yeah,
There was a lot of that's where the term comes back, and you'd be like, hey, let's talk.
yeah. That was one of my favorite times, to be honest with you. But it was scary too. It was a scary time. I never forget. I got pulled over in Grand Blanc, and we were smoking, and the guy like just got behind us and pulled us over, and I took the blunt and I ate it. And so honestly, till this day, probably one of the highest I've ever been. Like I ate half a blunt and was the cop came up, he looked, he's like, yeah, man, let me search the car. He didn't find anything. And he's like, man, but I know I smell weed. And we're like, and dude blamed it on his mom. He's like, my mom just got off work. It's probably, and I'm standing there after like 10 minutes, stunt, like I'm fully gone. Like, and the cop's like, are you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Like, let's hurry this up, but those were the good times. Those were the good times, I'd say.
So, have you ever grown the plant? Have you ever cultivated the plant?
Yeah, yeah, I grow. To be honest, in the last year or so, consumers has gone up the wall and has been kicking my ass. So I've had to kind of calm down on it. Um, I say I'm taking a sabbatical from growing right now, but yeah, I had even the room that I'm in now. I had this as a room before, and then I had a downstairs room that I was running lights in. So, running some of the Gage Green Group products. So, I have a good relationship with Mike. We were running a lot of his clones and seeds and genetics, and testing different stuff out. And so that was a nice experience being able to test out stuff from a somebody that breeds, like, and especially like a master breeder, like he's just coming over with shit. Like he's like, hey, yo, I got this such and such number four. Like I got number four and number five. Grow it out, see which one is better. Like, oh shit, let me try. Like, do tell. So that was a good time.
I can relate. Tester life is fun. I don't know how much you know about me, but it's actually where I kind of made my name early on in cannabis. There was doing a lot of testers for breeders. Became a good friend with TGA. Subcool was a good friend of mine, and but I love the testing process. So yeah, it's always nice to when you're in the testing process to share with others that haven't had, what I mean, tried what you got. And like,
Mm.
what the hell is that? It's like, something you ain't even heard of this yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's fun to be a part of, that for sure.
Now, have you ever gotten to tell somebody, yeah, like this is good, but this is the last time you're gonna taste it because they went with another pheno?
Hmm. Yeah,
And so people are like,
yeah,
what? Like you're getting rid of this one? I'm like, no, I'm telling you, the one that they kept 10 times better. So that lets you know, but the one that we smoking is the last time you gonna taste it.
yeah. Yes, I do. I can relate with that as well, and that is a good feeling.
Yeah.
My favorite answer to that was when they asked, uh, "What was it?" I'd be like, "You won't even hear something. You won't hear of for a couple more years, probably."
Yeah. Hasn't made
so,
it around to you yet.
how do you grow? I mean, when you are off the sabbatical, there, what's your preferred method?
Um, I do organic. So everything I was doing. So when it started out, I was going over to Mike's house, from Gage Green Group. So I was going over to Mike's, and I was his videographer. And so even till this day, if he calls me, we're making a video, I'm pulling up, we got the camera ready. But I'm filming him do all this stuff, and he's just telling me, he's like, bro, like this world is so different than people know. Like, and the plant is so different than people know. I'm like, well, what do you mean? And he's drinking pear juice. And I'll never forget the shit. He's drinking pear juice out of the bottle. Like, I'm like, I didn't even know they made pear juice that you could drink out of the bottle. Like he's drinking pear juice. And he's like, yeah, it's organic, whatever, whatever, nothing added. Like it's literally just a crushed pear, whatever. And he turns around and he just pours it into the plant. And I'm like, what's going on right now? And he's like, bro, if my plant can't eat it or drink it, like I'm not even putting it in my body. I was like, what? Like, and I started thinking about that. I'm like, he won't crumble up just a hamburger and throw it in the soil. You know what I mean? Like, it's like if his plant can't eat it, he doesn't even think it's good enough for his body. And so, filming that and watching the process, it was like I could watch people, and I could say this is what made me interested in growing because I would watch people taste other people's cannabis, and then I'd watch people like smoke his stuff, and they'd be like, damn, like this is different. This is unique. And so I was like, and so I got friends that smoke and I got people that are around and it's like, man, like I know they're smoking, but they're not smoking like I'm smoking. And so it became a thing. It's like I talked to him, I was like, bro, we got to start growing. Like you got to show me how to do this. Like, and even spreading the word because like my neighbor grows, but how can my neighbor grow like you? Like how can you show your techniques to the world? Like we make these videos, but like he's not a selfish person at all. Like you could call him right now and ask him parameters or PPA, whatever it is, and he's gonna give you the information that you need. So it was like, you're the best person to teach me how to get to that level. And so that's what made me, want to start out and do everything for myself. But I do mostly organic. I have I can't even think of I use M3, so I was using the soil. Rest in peace to the guy that passed with everything, but started using that because we knew him as a personal, we knew him personally, and then it was like, damn, you actually have good soil. And so started using his organic soil. Um, who is it? Roots Organics. There's another one. Sorry, like I said, I've been off my growing tip for just a little bit, so the names I don't want to get wrong, but Roots Organics, and a few other people, Country Roots for sure. Just trying to use different stuff where it's like, I don't know what the hell it is, but in a sense, like he uses this stuff for his plants, like, and it makes them go crazy. So I know that I need to add this much. I know that it needs this. I know when my leaves do this, I need to do this. So it's like a freaking science, dude. It's like it's a weird science.
I I agree. I was jokingly, and jokingly but not jokingly, said the other day to a gentleman at work. We're discussing growing weed, and he basically kind of shunned it off, like everybody grows weed. I grow, I threw some seeds down. I grew it in the field. I'm like, I looked at him. I said, "You're right. Anybody can grow weed, but not anybody can grow good weed.
Right.
There is a difference there. There is a science to it,
Mm.
but it is a amazing plant nonetheless to grow. And I think when we talk about medical cannabis, anyways, I think the cultivation side of cannabis is one of the biggest medicines of cannabis. Getting up and working with the plants. You were talking about being high strung, ADD, all that.
Mhm.
When you're in your room, you don't think about that. You lose. I mean, you don't even have to be smoking. You can, the plant. I've been quoted saying is a bioremediator of the soul, not just the soil. You know what I mean? It sucks the shit out of you when you're in that room. And I
Mm.
really believe that, the cultivation side of things is,
Mm.
medicinal, huge side of the medicinal
Oh
part
yeah.
of the plant.
And I've seen it work for people, and unfortunately, it's not available everywhere. It's like that's
It's
very
crazy.
like you don't get it. And I have my brother-in-law, he stays down in Savannah, Georgia, kind of Pooler, Georgia area. And we were just down there, and I took down some. I'm like, hey, I got to bring some tree down with me, whatever it is. I know I'm confessing to a crime right now. Sorry, Lord. But what they say, just a joint. But anyway, I took just a joint down there, and he's like, bro, like when you come, like I know you're my brother-in-law, so I love you, like. But when you come, I just know like you got something for me. It's like, and I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, bro, like if you were to tell me to get tree for you, like you'd be pissed off. So whatever I had to get for you, when you got here, you'd be mad. Like I'd probably just tell you either mail it or just go without smoking. And I'm like, damn. So I mean, even like he said, yeah, I heard of this stuff. And he said, I heard of some stuff called BHO. I was like, yeah, what do you mean? like he's talking to me about different stuff, he's like, yeah, I heard that they got like gummies with different like such and such. And I'm like, shit, like you can always come and get gummies. So we had like these different conversations, and it's like I just can't believe that the stuff we use for actual healing, like you don't even have access to, like, and if you do have access to it, it's not our best. Like Michigan's not sending its best. Like Cali's not sending its best. Like anything y'all get, like it's not and so it's like if we let it out, you're not, it's like Michigan's getting our best in a sense. I've always believed that. But it's like, man, like I can't believe you can't heal your back right now because it's illegal for you to get this plant and for you to partake in it recreationally or whatever it is. Like, so yeah, definitely different.
So, one of the other things I love about this plant as well, and I'm curious to see if you agree, is, as a videographer and a photographer of each strain. Uh, it's an amazing plant to photograph as well.
Hmm.
Sorry, I had to yell at the dogs there.
Now you're
So,
good. Clicked out for a second.
do you have some of the favorite? Do you photograph cannabis as well, or do you just kind of do cannabis videos?
I do. A lot of my different I've had a couple contracts where I've actually like did a couple bids for like lights. It's like, hey, if you want me to come do whatever, like I'll make you a trade. We can do it for some lights and some cash, So I've had people do it that way, or I've had people call me and they're like, hey, I got this new strain coming out. But I got a few phenos of it. I want you to film it like from start to finish in your own garden. Like, do you have space? And so that's actually something I do now. And so, well, not now, but it's something I was doing before I stopped. And now it's like, hey, you got to pay the consumer's bill if you want me to do that. But I'd set up, the four different ones, and I'd film them like every single week, come back in there and film them, film what point they're at, how they look. And so, people were able to make a good kind of educated decision from there, because if you're somebody that, trains your plants to grow this way and do whatever, then it's like now you're looking at it at a certain week to say, hey, it looks like this at that certain week from seed, I should be able to do this, or and so you can see the strengths and the weaknesses week by week. So that was kind of fun. And then just to film it, honestly, just finding top buds. Like we used to go through and get top buds and put them on a little stick, and then we take pictures of them and put like little Goku wigs over them. And so it's like this bud is so strong, it's like Super Saiyan mode. And so that was kind of like starting out in the cannabis. It was like, yeah, let's make every bud like Super Saiyan. And the better the bud, the more like Goku hair we add. So it's just different stuff that we play around with. But
So I'm curious a little bit. I got a double bag because I believe it pertains to the future part of the story. What is up with you two? And sorry about that. And they weren't even doing it until I off muted the mic there.
that's how they act. That's how kids act. That's dogs
He
and kids.
can be.
That's how they act.
Boys, knock it off. So when did you start becoming or became a comedian? When did you put a serious effort into that? And
Hmm. So around 2017, so almost 10 years now, roughly. I had somebody at work that's a comedian. His name is RJ. So he would go and do shows, and he's like, bro, like you one of the funniest people I know. You need to stop playing and get on the road with me, bro. Like just come on the road. And I was always afraid to do it. I had another friend that tried comedy, and I'd go with him to his shows, but I'd never get on stage. But I'd kind of help him with material. And so it's like one day the dude at work was like, bro, just come with me to a show. And I got there, and he was like, yeah, I didn't tell you, but I signed you up. Like, what? He's like, yeah, I signed you up. And then I was like, when do I go on? He's like, you go on after me. I'm like, the fuck? Like, wait a minute. Like, I go on after you. And so there was a comedian, and I forget his name right now, but he had won one of Kevin Hart's comedy tours or something like that. And so he was the headliner of the comedy show we were doing. And so when I got on stage my first time, all I talked about was IBS. Like, I'm like, I got IBS. And I just went through like my daily patterns of life and like how the kids react to my stories. And, I'm just telling stories of just my stomach hurting and random stuff. And I killed it. And so the guy comes up to me after the show. He's like, yeah, bro, like, what's going on, man? Like, I'm the guy from Kevin Hart, such and such. And like, I just want to know, bro, how long have you been doing comedy? And I was like, this is my first show. He's like, no way in hell. And then the other guy came up and he's like, nah, bro, this is his first show. And so from there, it was just like, he gave me the confidence. He's like, dude, whatever you got going on, like, stop it. Like, this is what you need to be doing. I don't care, whatever. Like if you at Sonic right now flipping burgers, that's the last burger you gonna flip. Like you need to be on the road. So that's kind of what pushed me into the comedy world. Just my friends, and then getting kind of confirmation from other comedians starting out.
It's off to you, man, and believing in yourself to make that leap, man. That's not a hard one. That's a hard one to do, and most people don't win that battle. They fucking go live in somebody else's dream from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So well, hats off to you for making that work and putting a good attempt into it. I've seen you. You are funny. You know what I mean? So,
I appreciate
uh,
it. It's
so
I know when we were doing there was a Big Cloud show, and shout out to the comedians that they had come out, and I just think that they didn't switch the material. So a lot of people were like, man, like they got the comedians out, but like, what are they doing? And so I came out there and I sat, and then somebody was like, bro, like they got to get you up there. Like, you got to get up there and like show them what's going on. And so I ended up doing another show for, I think it was Gyms and Genetics, if I'm not mistaken. And I came out, and a couple of those comedians were there, and we killed it, And so it was like when we were just talking at the end, it was like, man, like, sometimes you go different places and have to switch up your material. Like now you're at a cannabis show or you're at a festival. So now you got to kind of tweak things around whatever, it's like, it's cool to talk about my kids out here, but no, nobody want to hear that shit. Like we're talking about cannabis, so it's like different stuff that I think people just kind of had to get their, eyes on and see differently or whatever. But I've just always weirdly been able to adapt to where I'm at. And so it's like whether I'm in Grand Blanc doing a show, whether I'm in Troy, whether I'm in Flint, Detroit, Tennessee, because I go down to Tennessee and do a lot of shows, Memphis, Chattanooga area, Gatlinburg. So no matter where I'm at, I'm always able to kind of adapt. But I really just have to be comfortable with people too. Like it's really weird. Like I have to be comfortable with where I'm doing a show at. And so as long as I'm comfortable, then I can go out there and kind of rock the stage. But the only time I've ever had a negative show was where I just wasn't comfortable where I was at.
I guess it's a twofer question. Does cannabis help ease that going on stage tear, or does that make it worse? And then, well, answer that one first. Then I got questions.
Cannabis, it's better when you can do it on stage. So I'll just throw that out there as a tip for any promoters in the area. If you can't smoke while you're doing it, I don't know what we're doing it for. But um it does help because now you're getting into that mode and you're calming down. You're trying to get your breathing right. So it helps with your breathing, your breath work and just trying to focus. So for me, it's like you said, you're taking your medicine, you're getting that medicinal benefit of whatever you're smoking. And so now my body high is kind of calming down. My head's still tripping out because it's always gonna do that shit, but my body's calm. So now I'm able to go out. My heart's breathing right. I'm able to go out and rock the show. So it is different, but I can say from doing shows where I can smoke and being in areas where I can't, and you're trying to figure it out, like you're in Memphis and it's like, shit, where am I going to smoke this joint at really quick? Like it's not going to happen. So I've had those days where it's like, damn, I can't smoke and I got up here and I can't kind of be as loose as I need to in a sense. So it definitely helps.
So, does cannabis aid in the writing of your comedy, or is it only specific to like a cannabis type venue?
Um, I can say both because I have times where I can kind of get into and not to say a trance, but I kind of get into a mindset and I'm like, all right, like let's think of, the aspects of whatever just happened is funny, but let's break this down into a funnier story, and so it's like, yeah, we just went to, this is when I was starting out comedy, but I had this thing about Michigan Adventures. So I just took the kids to Michigan Adventures. And so I had the joke, but it's like to really like focus myself in and like make that from a regular joke to like a real hitter that I can use at the end. Like you need a little help, and so it's like I gotta calm myself down. At the time I had a jacuzzi tub in my bathroom. So I'd smoke and get my candles lit sitting there. But yeah, I'd be able to kind of just go into it. And so now it's like that story that just used to be a 10-second, 20-second joke that I'd throw out at the beginning of something now turned into, it's like now I'm going through the individual kids sitting in the back seat and what they say, and now their characteristics and how they act and how they, so it's like that turned into a whole 10-minute joke. And so it's like I can ride off of that and just keep it going for a whole, and so I'd say it does for a lot of stuff. And even, well, I can just say for me, it helps push out creative thoughts.
So, how cannabis friendly are? Because I I I really believe cannabis is like the secret sauce on a lot of things. A lot of dying businesses, not just here, and you can literally go, okay, you can do this with weed, and now it's, I mean, it's gonna revive that business, whatever it may be. But how open is venues for comedy? Like you said, you think that would be hand in hand. You would want clubs to openly be smoking and all
Yeah.
that.
We did a smoking
But
joke.
is it a thing now? Other than
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. The screen keeps cutting out for me
okay.
on my end. Um, I would say we did a smoking jokes in Flint. This was about maybe 5 years ago. So I don't remember whether it's pre-pandemic or I believe it was right before the pandemic happened, but there was a smoke shop that opened and we just did comedy shows in there at night. And so we were trying it out. But I remember telling somebody, I'm like, dude, the shows where we can smoke and like you have the audience smoking and there's no liquor involved are literally way better than any show I've ever did in any bar. Like these are the best shows. Like you have people cracking up. You don't have people that are mad. You got the establishment is making money. You got people sitting there rolling up. They have no purpose but to be here to laugh and smoke with somebody else. Like I've never had a bad vibe at a smoke. We had maybe 3 or 4 smoking jokes and it was perfect. But if I go to a club or go to a bar, it's like I'm testing out the vibe. Like I got to figure out who's really drunk. Like I can't make fun of you today. Like I don't even want to go over to that corner because they screaming. So it's like you have different things to where it's like, and even if it's not a bar, you just have regular settings sometimes where it's like, oh man, like Chuck E. Cheese might not be the best place for this comedy show, but let's do it. You paid, so let's do it. So
You know, that'd be awesome to see. Michigan's special in as far as cannabis goes in a lot of ways. The events that we have here, the camping type shit has made a lot of people around the world jealous of the cannabis community here in Michigan. But
Oh,
we've done a lot of things, and I've heard you mention a couple of events where like they've had probably a maybe an hour or so of comedy. But man, I would go to like a fucking weekend event, you know what I mean, where you just brought your lawn chair and fuck camped out in the sun and listened to some awesome comedy. You
yeah.
know, the music's great, but man, laughter is another good medicine right
Hmm.
there. You know, you get the oxytocin, man, you'll be good at the end of the day for
Yeah.
sure. I think that would be an awesome thing.
And coming out, people coming out, because I think when it comes to cannabis, you have a purpose. So let's just say, and I don't want to, because I don't relate it to, like, cannabis isn't a drug. Like, you're not talking about, other drugs and this and that. But it's like when you have people that are in their moment of what they do, like, it's like cannabis is enjoy, like, you're trying to enjoy what you're doing. You know what I mean? So if cannabis is your relaxation or your medicine, like, it's like, hell, like, I want to relax when I take my medicine. Like, I'm not trying to be doing crazy shit or running around, or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be stressed out when I'm taking my medicine, or, whatever it is. So I think that that's one thing for it. It's like whenever you see people go to get cannabis, like, we got a purpose. Somebody be at home and they don't got no tree all day, but they'll find a way to get to that, because, and it's a part, once they there, they in and out and back to the house. Like, it was a reason for that, and so I think when people come to these shows and whatever, like, they come there for laughter. No one comes there to be a nuisance, because it's like, shit, I'm trying to sit down and enjoy my cannabis, enjoy my medicine, and have a good time. When you're going to a different event or you're going to whatever, you don't know how people are going to act. So I don't know. I'm always down for a good comedic cannabis show. I'll just say that. 100%.
Yeah, I think that would me too, and I think we need to see more of it. It's another thing Flint has been pretty awesome about is our balls and just being social
Mm,
about cannabis.
yeah.
We have still and have or get caregiver style cannabis here in Michigan, and I think that's still forefront. Leaders in cannabis shit.
Mm.
Flint gets a lot of bad rap about shit, but they forget about all the good to anything really.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the innovators are from here. So when you talk about different stuff that's going on, um, it's like people are like, "Are you from Detroit?" Like, people from Flint say they're from Flint. We don't need Detroit. We don't want to be from Detroit. We don't want to. We definitely don't want to be from Saginaw. We want we want to be right from Flint. So I have a lot of friends, or it's really weird. I just met one of my cousins that I did. I don't know how, I've never heard of her, anything like this, but my cousin lives down the street from me. And she was like, "Hey, like, I'm your cousin. We've never met, all this other stuff, but I do hip hop. Like, so if you ever had the chance, like, check out some of my videos and this and that and whatever." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, but I'm like, everybody raps, it's kind of like cannabis. Everybody grows. I go and look on her page. I'm like, damn, like, my cousin's famous out here. Like, you, I was like, we both have the same last name in Flint, but it's like, this is just a weird area. Flint is just a very weird area, but it's like somebody that I don't know how we're related, but her last name is Hendrix, mine too. And she was like, "Hey, we're cousins. Like, we're family. Like, we got to meet up." I'm like, that's crazy. I told her, I said, "I'm a damn C-list celebrity. I am a C-list celebrity." So you, I was like, I don't know what you are, but I consider myself a C-list. So shit, that's is what it is.
I don't know about that. There was a question in chat as far as have you ever thought about trying the Kill Tony thing as far as comedy goes? That seems like a brutal experience. I don't know. With
Um, I I never have. And then that's a different type of. I do have different angles, even for future stuff that I. But no, I've never. Yeah, never gotten that way. I had somebody that knew somebody that did something on one of his shows or it was something weird, but somebody called and they're like, yeah, like this person or whatever. Like, I need you to check it out and you could meet him and we could like all this other stuff. And it's like, yeah, but some of this stuff is a little too wild for me. Yeah.
it seems like it would be a brutal experience for anybody as far as like a budding comedy career. That's yeah. I
Oh,
don't know if
I'm pressing
I'd
button.
I don't know if I'd be that brave. To be honest with you.
Mm-mm. Shit.
So how did I do see you at a lot of events, both kind of holding down the mic and just being around a lot of the events here in Michigan. How did you get involved with all that?
Um, with being the videographer with Gage Green Group, it just kind of Mike was my guy, and so started meeting different people. He'd be going different places, and it's like, yeah, well, I got my videographer too. Like, so it's like, hey, if you need somebody, like, let me know. So that was with that, but videography is kind of how I made my way in with the comedy in a sense. So everything just kind of worked out for itself. It's like I'm out shooting and whatever, but now like we're laughing, the filming's over and we're cracking up, smoking afterwards. And it's like, dude, you're funny as hell. Like, well, I'm a comedian too. Like, so I was able to, plug my way in slowly but surely. But cannabis has always been a nice world to me. So no matter what I've done, no matter what shows I've had, who I've gone to see, like anytime I've had anything in the cannabis world, it's always been like a top notch experience. I've never had one bad experience filming or doing anything in the cannabis world. So plant hasn't done me wrong yet.
Everywhere included. Do you have a favorite an event or somewhere that cannabis has taken you that you can be like, yeah, I'm glad cannabis took me. I took that offer.
I mean, I hosted Bone Thugs, bro. Like that shit was crazy to me. Like I got the host for Bone Thugs in Harmony. Like Big Cloud bought out Bone. I'm like, bro, like you talking about boom, 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 boom. Like I was happy as hell. Like I'm at the house getting ready. Like what you gonna do? I'm in the shower singing the songs and shit. Like, and then when I got to see people, it's like because people act different. But like I said, I feel like I'm a C-list celebrity. So when I see other celebrities, I'm like, oh, it's just you. Like, but the only person I ever freaked out with was when I seen Bruno Mars. We can get into that another day. But when I saw him, it was just like, what's good, bro? Like he was like, what's going on, man? Like we talked for a second. And I had we do Ebony Gemstone Company at the Flint Farmers Market. So I do have a piece of this Liberian desert glass on me, but he walked by me and I had like three chains on. And so it was a couple. I ain't gonna tell y'all which ones because people be all in my business. But one of them came by. He was like, "Hey, bro, like where you get those at?" I'm like, we own the gemstone company, or whatever, whatever. He was like, "You trying to sell them?" And I gave him a price, and he paid it. So it was like one of my highlights from that is being able to sell gemstone jewelry to the group. And so it's like I got to get on stage. Somebody was like, yo, like they're gonna be about 20 minutes. Like, can you get on there and do like a little bit for 20? Can I get it? Like I'm having the best night of my life. I surely can. So I got on there before they came up. I did a bit while their DJ was going on, and I'm going back and forth with the DJ, and the crowd was crazy. And so it's like those experiences, honestly, like that was one of the best experiences I've ever had. then like just being backstage and watching them do what they're gonna do, and it's like you look over and see the crowd and people are just going freaking crazy, and it's like I don't know, like I gotta live in this moment. It's like, how come you didn't take any videos, any pictures? Like, bro, that moment was so surreal. Like, I just wanted to enjoy it.
Yeah, but cannabis in these events in here in Michigan is I've seen a lot of cool shit
Man.
as well. But shit, the last time I seen you, Mayflower Cup, I asked you about the piece you had on. What has drawn you to Stones? When did you get into that? I didn't realize, and that was a thing with you because I have found that's another thing I have found cannabis community and people who love cannabis and growing love gemstones. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a thing. Cannabis and gemstones are a thing. Sells together.
I don't know. I think it's just more people want to be natural. And so like even like we went out of town about a month ago. Almost a month ago. And I haven't really told the world about this, but I had a panic attack, like anxiety attack about going out of town, like trying to get my wife down, whatever, and making sure we had the money. And for some reason I was tripping out. And um with it, sorry, I just had a brain fart. But with it saying that, you want a natural remedy to most things, and so most people, to be honest with you, back in the day, if somebody offered you a Adderall or a Xanax, most people were inclined to take it, and that would be your prescription, and that would be whatever. Now, when most people hear that shit, they're like, damn, like, maybe I don't want to take this. That sounds a little harsh. That sounds a little whatever. And so gemstones are that same thing. Like you can get natural healing from stones. And so people don't realize like stones have a lot of different benefits. Like there's quartz crystals in your phone right now. Like there's gold in your phone right now, like in your laptop and every electronic device. And so it's like energy is everywhere. And so you can control the energy that you have around you. And whether you believe in it or not, I can give you this stone. You can set it by your front door for the next year and a half and tell me if anybody messes with you. And you know what I mean? Like, it's like, did you let any negative spirits inside your house in the last year or so? Like, no. Okay. Well, that stone must have worked out for you because that one is meant to ward of negatives, and so every stone has its own power, its own healing, its own. And that's kind of how me and Mike kind of got close to. Is like, damn, yeah, you got a big amethyst. Like he was like, your brother has a huge amethyst up at the studio. Like, you think he's willing to sell it? I'm like, shit, everything's got a price. So he had bought that and it was like, man, so but going out and even like I said, selling something like that to Bones, it's like, bro, you walked by me. Like one of y'all just walked by me and was like, hey, I like that. Like, you got a price on that? Like, yeah, hell yeah, I got a price for it. Such and such. And he was like, I got you, bro. Come to the trailer. Like, I'm selling chains by just being like, I told my brother, I'm a walking advertisement. Like, you hand it to me, I can sell it. So I'm a walking ad. So, but gemstones definitely, I think it's more natural. You get people that just want to be on the natural side of healing that I think one of my dogs just jumped over the gate. But yeah, you just want to be on the natural side of things.
So, yeah, I agree. The, I'm a big fan of Stones myself, in many ways, and a lot of people are. I've been told, and I'm a big believer in not to necessarily buy with your eye when it comes to gemstones.
Mm.
To it's gotta you have to feel the energy. Pick the stone before your eye, basically,
Mm.
when it comes to gemstones and shit like that. But I'm a huge fan. I have assortment of rocks. I go rock hunting. I've been rock hunting.
How's
It
that work out for you when you go rock hunting?
oh Man, I have had a lot of beautiful days with a beautiful woman. Wandering through forest with to rock hunting. You take some mushrooms and you kind of feel that direct connection with the earth there. And I find, man, they shine like diamonds when when you make that connection. You're out hunting with them. You can feel them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've had a lot of great days actually rock hunting. Water, we're out walking around ponds and shit, or lakes. The lakes I find are the best way to find them because you can kind of get that sheen, an idea of their natural sheen once you polish them up.
Mhm. People, what they do, they
Uh,
have those.
I don't know, good times. But I believe in them and is growing as well. Have you made the connection with gemstones and growing?
Mhm.
They affect the plants as they do humans. I know Michael there, Mike Gage, crystals with the soil. Certain types of crystals in the root zone make a big difference. Uh, Another common friend or somebody you probably know of, Jake from Midnight Roots there.
Mhm.
During one of our interviews, he can put electrodes on the plant. He's like was doing like a plant music. So basically, you could
Mhm.
put two clips on a plant,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
pick up on their frequency, their vibrations.
Yeah, I did a show with that guy.
So one night we're talking. He's an awesome dude as well, and we go. I knew he was a believer in crystals or was down the road of gemstones as well, and growing. And we got talking about mixing the two, and I'm like, all right, do you have both? And he did, and so we hooked up a plant right there, and he went and got a crystal, and so he took the plant out of like a nighttime phase and hooked it up, and it was like pretty tick tick, wasn't making a lot of noise. And then he took the crystal that he had and he dropped it at the base of the plant. And it's that plant from then on fucking was all kind sucked up the energy from that stone, and then even perked up was like even like conscious, like what when we were
Yeah.
talking about it, like say we'd like, but there's a huge fucking, there's a lot to do with gemstones.
Yeah.
I think that's cool as fuck that you do that as well.
Yeah. I don't know whether they call it like root tech or I don't know what the technical, term for it is, but I just remember I was going over to film this man's plants and he had just finished taking some down. And so like he had been taking pictures of like the roots around it. So like it's like I know how to grow and all that, but I'm still not as technical as these people too. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm the video guy, but I'm still not the scientist. Like that's the type of shit. But he was sitting there and the stone came out as a quartz crystal, but it kind of came out of the soil a little bit. So it was like huge, but it was half in the soil, half out. And the roots had started growing around and down this damn crystal. And so for some reason he was taking everything down or whatever, but it was just the root, like that top little piece that was still stuck on there. And he pulled it up, and the ball that it created around the crystal was freaking crazy. And so when you're sitting there thinking and you're like, if you have a plant out in nature, if you have like plants on the side of like cliffs or whatever it is, it's like they're naturally grabbing onto whatever's helping it pull down and get further into that soil or help, you know what I mean? So it's like different stuff he was telling me. I'm just filming it like, damn, that is crazy. Like I've never seen roots gravitate to these different things. So even if you set, let's say you set one in the middle and then set a few on the side and do whatever, like cut everything down, let them shits dry out, remove the soil slightly, you'll see that you'll have more rootage in that area. Like your roots, like your main whatever will come down. And then when they spread out, they'll gravitate towards these areas. And it's like I don't know what it is about Mother Earth that they love or what it is about the energy that they love, but they feel it. And there's a lot of people that do like the copper too. They put a piece of copper in the ground and at one end of their garden, go all the way down to the end of the garden and snake it through the garden. And you got quartz on top of all of them. We do that at the Ebony Gemstone Company too. So if y'all need some quartz stuff, y'all come let us know. Flint Farmers Market Tuesdays with Thursdays and Saturdays. But yeah, it's like creating energy that just like it's an energy field around your garden. And so people have their own stories. I had one guy was like, I've never seen a mosquito in my garden. I was like, damn, that's crazy. But whatever it is, it's like you can still see the benefits of the plant.
I agree with that as well. That's one of the things I was gonna try, or am going to try. I still, if I'm a tester at heart. I believe, I'm still not stuck in any of my methods. I've actually, as far as like, heard you mention the cost of light and power. And few years back, probably about 4 years ago now, Joe Pietri, and he came on and was talking about different light cycles and reducing both the veg time you can do in a 12 in one. So you run it like your veg 12 on, 5 hours off, and then 1 hour on to complete the 18, and then five and a half off. And that veg cycle is actually awesome. You save 6 hours basically of light, and I'm super healthy. And right now, he told us again about a shortened flower cycle. You think
Mm,
about it when you're in the fall time, the lights, the natural sunlight you get isn't 12 hours by any means. Usually,
mm,
I mean, it shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. So suggested only an 8 hour, 8 to 9 hour
mm,
light cycle in a year, just 8 hours in flower, cutting four off of the traditional time, 12-12 that you'd normally flower in cannabis. And man, I am loving it. There's no way I will put that light back on for another 4 hours a day. So that helps save a whole lot of money too. So
yeah.
I'm still test things out, and right now this year I'm fucking putting copper out in the garden. I am gonna put some copper shit out in each one of the plants, and probably some crystals and all the good shit. But
Yeah.
this year, I see what I did last year, and now I'm gonna fucking fuck around. I've seen good things, not just about energy of the plant, but actually a reduction in like pests,
Mm.
not wanting to fuck with the plants as well.
Oh yeah. 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 That's a
Well, if you could increase productivity of the plant and not put as
heck
much
yeah.
shit on your plant, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I'll give it a go. You know what I mean? I'll even do a side by side. I won't even do them all.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
but I think it's interesting
Mhm.
for sure. I think I'll be coming down to see you one of these Saturdays. It'd be hard for me to get over there on a Thursday or Tuesday, but
No, yeah, we're down there. Come here, love. She trying to hit the bowl, but
on
don't.
Saturday I think I might swing.
And look, I'm on a show. She like, damn, I want to hit the bowl, but I don't want to come in there. Here, come hit the. You don't have to peek your head in, but just take the bowl with you when I light it. Here, look.
So where do you see comedy and cannabis taking you here in the future? Do you have anything up and coming in the near future where people could come check you out? What is the next move in both?
For me, it's honestly I'm getting to be more behind the scenes. So comedy was fun. It was like, but I'm trying to teach that next generation. And coming from Flint, You know, our next generation's a little different. So we gotta buckle down. And so it's like, hey, I know I'm young, but it's time to start teaching the next people that are growing up the right way. It's like, yeah, everybody can get out here and dance and do whatever this type of shit. But how can you have some order about yourself? How can you own your own house? How can you own your own car? How can you do this and that? How can you save some money? How can you have a good family? How can your kids not be a detriment to society? So that's the part that I'm getting into now. It's like, I just, as far as even the cannabis world, like I still help out. I still do videos and pictures. I do a lot of commercials that people don't even know that I do. So that's another thing I do. Like a lot of cannabis places. I have NDA shops that, you know, it's like, hey, because I work with I partner with former mayor of Flint, Mayor Weaver. So we have a studio. And so when I started doing that work, I was like, hey, let me start kind of just trying to chill out on a lot of this, you know, whatever. You know, like it's like, you know, when it comes to politics, I don't want to, you know, tell people what I'm doing or have people, you know, this and that, or I don't want this world to mess with that world. But she's even a supporter of that as well. It's like, you know, it's like, hey, if this can help you, if this can do whatever, like who the hell am I to stop anybody? You know what I mean? So it's one great thing about working with her. But I mean, not to speak with her, but or speak for her, but just saying, like, if you're doing that and you're not out here killing nobody on the damn streets, I'd rather you do that. So, but yeah, trying to do more positive things in the community. Two studios in Flint, so I have a play that's gonna come up. I'm trying to write this play, finish it out by the end of the year, so I can start casting and getting some people into that. And so I'm trying to let it take me into a world of just creativity now. It's like you have a million thoughts and you have a million things that you want to do. Like, let's start somewhere and try to do it.
Super awesome. Very respectful, man. Yeah, I dig it, man. Super awesome. And not an easy thing to do either. So,
No, no.
hats off for you. Uh, so, where does it all start? I mean, uh, it's not easy to actually step away and get behind the the camera all the time. Do you have somebody? Like I said, I see you at a lot of these events. I'd be bummed. I will miss you. I will miss you, sir.
Now,
Yeah.
the last event, like I actually popped out because Steve, Forefathers Genetics, one of my guys. So if he asked me for anything, I'm honestly gonna be there. He's helped me out a lot. He's helped me get a lot of deals in the area. You know, just he's helped me get a lot of money in the cannabis world as well. So there's a few people that it's like if you scratch my back, I'm definitely scratching yours. And so I said I wasn't doing any shows this year, and it was like he called me a few times. I popped out for him and done a few things. So, you know, I'm still willing to come out and do shows in the cannabis community. That's the only place where you probably will see me. So, as far as when it comes down to regular shows, if somebody's just throwing something, I've had people at the Capitol, you know, it's like, yeah, we're doing a show at the Capitol. You want to be a part of it? Or we're doing a roast for this person or that. It's like, no, but I can find somebody. Like, if you want to, I can suggest somebody that's going to be, you know, it's like I'm getting to a point where I want to be in the less stressful position, you know, and so coming somewhere where I have to figure it out, coming into the Capitol Theater, we got the whole city that done bought tickets. I got to think about what jokes are gonna hit, what jokes aren't, what person might like, you know, it's like I'm not trying to do that. Like I can go to a comedy or I can go to a cannabis festival. I can even get up for 5 or 10 minutes. I know I'm gonna make it slap. I can get up for a whole hour if they want. You know, my motto is once you pay, I'm on the way. But um I can kind of just vibe. You know, it's like I know I want to smoke. I know what I want to hear when I'm high. Like, you know, I might talk too damn much at a certain point in time, but like I'm just trying to make people laugh, you know? So it just is what it is. But yeah, I don't know where the where the start is, and because it's like, hey, I'm trying to do as much as I can. If I can, I just see the youth going a different way. I see the world going a different way, and then I see the youth going a different way. So it's like, if we can control what we can control, like shit. As long as they grow up and they ain't robbing me, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good with that. So I got a lot of kids right now that call me Mr. Hendrix, and that works perfectly fine for me. So yeah.
It's sad that, and I'm not saying for you in particular, but it's sad that we're still in a state that we can't openly, you know what I mean, mix the two,
Mm,
and it's sad. I was lucky at the last job I took, well, I'm at now actually, where the cannabis. I was told right off the bat, cannabis isn't necessarily, it's not a drug.
mm,
Wasn't necessarily saying it wasn't a thing. You don't do it on their time, but it's not necessarily, you know, you're shunned on.
mm.
And but that's the first experience in a lifetime, basically, where I've come across that. You know what I
That's wild. That's very wild.
mean? There's still been many a time other work opportunities that I was, you mentioned cannabis, and they're like, you know what I mean? And I don't think we're there yet as
Mm.
far as mixing the two. I know people that are well known people in cannabis and teach. You know what I mean? And are afraid of those
Mm.
two worlds colliding. You know what I mean? Still, the stigmas that we've kind of mentioned throughout this are
Oh,
still
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's it's definitely different. I don't Speaking of teaching, like I know a few teachers that definitely smoke cannabis, and they days would be a lot easier if they could just hit the blunt when everybody else is hitting the blunt. You come to family events, you got to smoke in private. You can't let the public know that you, but then you call later on wanting somebody to sneak you by a bag. Um,
Right.
it's definitely, I don't know, man. It's just different. I think it was weird that GM started adding, like, took it off of their drug panel. So it's like if you smoke cannabis, like people were so afraid of just going to test for GM down the damn street. Like it's like, bro, like they don't test for weed no more. What are you talking about? Like they test them for the hard shit. Like they don't care nothing about our legalized drug, or our legalized medicine anymore. That is technically in the Bible Belt considered a drug. So it's like shit. You go down there talking about it, they'll look at you funny. But GM, like shit, is that all you do is smoke weed? Oh, we good. Like just don't come in here high. We'll treat it just like liquor. You wouldn't drink a pint of liquor before you come in. Don't smoke. I don't know what measurement they'd give you, but don't smoke a whole blunt before you come in here, and you'd be good.
Mm. The only shitty thing that I have seen, outside of cannabis, I've always done carpentry, as how I've
Mm,
made my money, home improvements, you name it, I've done it. And weed's always been a thing as far as, construction, whatever. But these days, it's wild. It's all like I have been now on a few different jobs where uh, a pen, as long as you're using a pen, it's acceptable. And now you go from spot to spot, you can tell everybody's hitting their pens. But if you were to of flowers, thinking like flower, having flower on you, I've been on the other end of that. They'd be like, man, I can smell you, dude, like way over there, and I'd be like, man, I got a joint in my pocket. What difference is that as far as having my pen? I'm sorry that. My joint's loud, but my pen's not. I don't. It's just some shit still. You know. I don't know, but
Now
I'm glad
that's
it's a
that.
little bit acceptable.
Yeah, it's I remember I was working at Xfinity and the lady went in the bathroom and we never knew she smoked or anything. It was one of our supervisors, but she went in the bathroom and when she came out, it smelled like some type of strawberry pen, like not just regular, like they had a flavor in it or whatever. This is before they had the breeze in the stores and all this other shit that people smoke now. But she had hit something, so when she came out, but like you can smell. To me, you can smell the difference between even now. Like if someone hits a breeze or hits like a e-cig in front of you, like you can smell the difference between that and like cannabis. Let's just be honest with it. But she went in the bathroom and she hit it, and so I went in the bathroom and I was like, damn, like what is, like she was in here smoking. So I came out and I just walked up next to her. I was like, you got any more of that pen that you were in there hitting? And she just looked at me like her eyes got all big. And I'm like, I won't tell anybody. I just want to hit it. It smells good. And she's like, smell it. I'm like, yeah, people that like are around that type of stuff or people that make it, we know what it smells like, 'cause you can't get rid of it. So it was just funny, but to see somebody on the line at GM or see somebody whatever hitting a pen, I mean, it might take some stress out.
I agree. Not just stress, but pain relief as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
And I don't. I've never been. I'm on the other side of that too. I've never. I don't think cannabis has ever held me in life, and I don't. I honestly wouldn't mind if my actually surgeon. You know what I mean? Whatever had to smoke before surgery to have that focus and that
Mm.
steady hand, I'd be like, yeah, you smoke that joint? Fuck that. That's what I'd want to hear before surgery. You get that in, man? Got that steady hand? You go
Yeah.
focus? Yeah. I wouldn't mind my pilot, whatever, if that's it. I honestly don't see them to see now that they're opening up in the athletics, letting athletes use cannabis openly. You're starting to see more and
Mm.
more of them. It's I don't actually see it as a hindrance to anything. Anything. I can't even think of a field where I wouldn't be like, no, you can't smoke before you
Mm.
do
Mm.
that.
I mean, gonna say. Oh, I wanted to make sure I wouldn't cut you off. I was. I mean, yes and no. I'll be honest. No, certain stuff we just need to know how you react. So we've all had that friend where and I can only really compare it to liquor because I've never, if we started smoking and you started doing some crazy shit and we was both hitting the blunt, I just probably wouldn't smoke with you again. But we've all had that friend that's gotten too high, or like we've all been smoking, or like you just don't handle it the same way, or maybe your body's not meant for all this indica and you're a sativa person. You can handle that a little better, or but we've all had that friend that has had one beer or had two beers and they act totally different than everybody else that had one or two beers. And so, in my mind, as long as you're able to handle it, I'm like, I think there should be some type of test for that. Like, who can socially handle, this, whatever. You're a high tolerance person, you're not a high tolerance, whatever it is, there should be a test for this. But for me, I wouldn't mind it at all. We about to fly this plane. I need you to be in go mode. Like, you need to be ready, go and sit down and smoke. Um, I used to work at the airport. I ain't gonna put nobody on blast, but your pilots probably be smoking anyway for they get on that mama. But yeah, it's like they're locked in and they're ready to get to wherever they would need to go because that's the mission.
Right on. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah. So I wish the stigmas would just die. I would, as far as that goes.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Didn't the pullover stuff get different? like even when they pull you over, like they can't pull like suspicion of cannabis. So they used to be able to tell you that they smell cannabis.
Oh
There's a
yeah,
reason for search. Now they can't do that.
yeah. They can't search you now just because they smell cannabis. Search and seizure, no. Even in the residence, that used to be a big scare. You know,
Hmm.
they can't search your house anymore just because they smell
Oh,
weed.
I didn't know they could do that.
Back in the day, they used to. Yeah, if they smelled weed, oh yeah, they could
Oh,
come in, look for drugs. Fuck yeah,
I
yeah.
do. I'd be sick.
Oh yeah, that just changed not so long ago. Oh
That's craziness.
yeah.
That's craziness. I don't know. It's a different world though, and even like I said, growing up in that kind of switch is you can tell. You know, I used to go out. There was a guy when I stayed out in Grand Blanc. Maybe it was when I was about 22, 23. Um, everything was still not really legal around here. You know, we might have had a couple clubs trying to start up this and that, but um, we used to go get we call it Ragos. So we used to go get Ragos from them, and it would smell like gas. Like it would just literally smell like gas. And he was like, at one point, I think he had told us, like, yeah, I don't know if, it got into whatever when they was trying to get it up here and the engine or the gas tank like leaked into whatever or leaked into the packaging. I don't know, but it smelled like straight gas. Like, but the weed was good. I'm be honest with you. Like it smoked phenomenally. Like it was some of the best Reggies I've ever had. And so it's like when you go back to those days, like it really takes me back because it's like, damn, like now I can go down the street, I can go to a dispensary, I can go down to Vehicle City, I can go do this and such. I can call my guy. But back in the day, the only alternative or the only thing that I had was gas weed. Like not cat piss, not whatever. We didn't even know what it was because the gas overtook the smell. It was just regular gas weed. Fire. Fire.
I actually believe that, and I miss them days, the outlawish type kind of days of cannabis, to be honest with you, when you had to get it from single source or the limited opportunities. You had to look over your shoulder, you know what I mean? When you bought that bag, took it home, and I think that all added to the lower quality of cannabis that we had at the time. Because it wasn't what we're smoking now. Our fucking taste, and we've become quite cannabis snobs, at least here in Michigan. As far as we've come a long way from the Rego days, for sure. I mean, you don't. I even remember the time. The time there when we had the choice. You
Mm.
know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Those were the days though. You didn't have anybody putting a random name on something that it wasn't. You didn't have somebody spraying. I found out that was a thing last year. I'm like, people do what? They're like, yeah, people spray their weed. Like it could be whatever, and they spray runts. Spray, like, it's just different stuff. It's like, bro, I'm just trying to like I could even go back to the Reggie days. Like those were decent times for me. But it's like you had to know who you got your Reggies from too, though. Like it's still, you could have a bad Reggie day, but um, yeah, those were the times for me. I could say those probably were some of the best moments that I had in cannabis, just because they were with other people. That was when I was starting out, but it was like everything was just what it was. There wasn't anything extra. There wasn't whatever. We knew who had better Reggies than the next person. And if he wasn't answering the phone, we mad as hell. We got to go buy it from him, but it was still just regular weed. Now it's all types of names that we got to put on it. And you got to watch who you buy it from. And yeah, it's different. We're spoiled.
it's a good thing. It's a good thing for sure. For sure. But it's good to be here. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
So, with that being said, I think we've covered a good hunk of what we need to cover. I'd like to go over a couple of things with you before you go. A, I don't know again how familiar you are with the channel, but there's a few things that go on here as far as what different types of shows. There's the interview portion of the channel here, which you've done that portion of, and then there is what we call the Weed Nerd World, which is like a hangout panel type show, just to come smoke and
Hmm.
shoot the shit. Might be talking plants. We might just be whatever. It's whatever.
Hmm.
But the idea behind it is it's only open to past guests. But at this point, 855, counting yourself, uh, you never know who's going to be there and what we're going to. It's always good if you happen to see a little notification that pops on and it says We Nerd World and you're bored and you're fucking smoking and you want to join in and tell us what you're doing, what you're up to, or whatever. Just pop on. You're more than welcome to, and I'd always love another chance to hang out and shoot shit with you. So
Definitely.
remember that. A, B. I need what I call the old school soundbite from you. At some point, I will use it as a commercial or a look back at this episode. Basically, what I am looking for, my version thereof, is hey, this is Eagle, and I've been on fucking talking shit with Eagle episode 855. You say whatever you want before, after it, make it your own. But I'd appreciate it if you could give me some kind of soundbite before you go.
Okay. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see if my sound might be too high. I'm gonna give you my radio edit.
Let me know when you're ready so I can hit record.
Too high. Too high. Hold up. Hold up.
If
Hold up. I
you're
gotta.
gonna use that, you gotta use the ba 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 ba.
I got you. Hold up. What you said? We on episode 855.
855. Yes, sir.
All right. I'm ready when you are.
Good. Oh, it didn't say it. Here we go.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Comedianlhendrix, and I am here fucking talking shit with Eagle. Y'all already know what it is, man. Make sure y'all check us out. This is episode 855 that I'm on, but y'all already know what it is. Make sure y'all check out my man, Eagle. We in the building, y'all.
Heck yeah. Thank you, my friend. Looking forward to seeing you again. I've enjoyed all of our meetings when we've seen each other in the cannabis community at the event. To see you, my friend. I would like to get out there and see some more of your comedy. That would be super awesome. And Gemstones. I will see you some Saturday randomly. Uh, I'll pop in and hopefully catch you there and see what you got and purchase some stones. So that's super awesome, my friend.
Yes.
So with that being said, I'd like to thank you for your yeah, thank you.
I appreciate you for having me on. It's definitely been a time, man, and like I said, hopefully I can catch you on the other spot. We'll be able to sit down and smoke all that other good stuff. Ebony Gemstone Company and Hendrix Studios in the Flint area, if you with it. And like I said, hopefully we get a chance to rock out soon, share a stage together. I'm always down to share stages with people. So hopefully this is something that, one day it's like you like, yo, I'm taking the pod at one of the shows. Like we're gonna do it straight at the show and go on stage with that shit for a few hours. And I'd love to actually sit up there with you and kick the shit. So
Well, I got a taste of that at the Mayflower Cup, and I think I'm gonna do more of that. So that
yeah,
may happen, sir. It may happen.
yeah, keep me posted. I'm down for sure. And I appreciate
All
you.
right, I will do that, my friend. You have a wonderful night, and to the rest of you guys, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. Random acts of kindness do save lives. And with that being said, we are out of here. Thank you, L. Kendricks.